Living Adaptive.
The goal is to adapt and thrive despite the adversity you face.
You're going to have that little voice inside of you trying to push yourself.
I set a vision for myself, and now I'm seeing it come to fruition.
I'm grateful for losing my leg.
There's just some things you must endure in life.
You might crash.
You can find a purpose in your suffering.
I'm not going to stop.
You do everything you possibly can.
We want to change the world.
I'm going to adapt to it and make it the way it works for me.
Take what it is from life that you want and enjoy it.
All right, what's up, everybody? This is Scott Davison, and this is Living Adaptive. We had a little break, but coming back from the break, we have actually a really incredible episode, and I'm going to introduce our guest in 1 second. If you enjoy Living Adaptive, this takes time. It does cost money. Buy me a coffee. Use the link below to support what we're doing. Also, before we get going too, we're sponsored now by This Is a True Story podcast, another show that I'm producing and hosting. And so check out This Is a True Story. We're going to air the stories of personalities that are exciting, adventurous, have transformative stories. All of that's on every podcast app. So go check that out in the show notes below. Today we have the Robbie Ripoll. Robbie is like, I don't know, the most magnetic person I've had on for a long time. Everybody loves Robbie. Robbie, is well known for Ink Masters. He's well known for his speaking abilities. He's well known for his tattoo studio, and we'll get into that in a second. He's well known for a lot of things, and now TikTok and a bunch of other stuff. So Robbie, what's up, man? How are you?
Dude, that was an incredible intro. Thank you very much. As much as I preach to the people about things and loving yourself and shit, it's still really hard for me to accept all that praise. You don't realize it until you're in that situation, but thank you so much. Man, things have been rad. Crazy wild ride. Shit, when did we talk last? Was it November of last year?
we were all the way back in COVID time, maybe April of 2020.
Oh, shit. Okay, so dude, I was living in a different house. My studio wasn't open. Did I have a leg yet?
You had, you were sore though. Something was going on where I don't think you were wearing it.
Okay. So yeah, that was when I just got it. And that was hard as, dude, that was so hard. I remember laying in bed, I think it was the day after, getting my prosthetic. I was laying in bed and I was thinking to myself, man, I would so much rather die than have to get up out of this bed and walk around.
Damn.
I was like, man, suicide isn't an option. I really want it to be. It was really weird, man. And it was dark and it was scary as shit. And so that was rough. And then I just started pushing through it, It was funny because, I laid in bed for 5 hours the first day, just hoping I didn't have to get up, hoping I could find a quick way out. And I didn't get to. I just ended up putting it on and started walking. Didn't hurt as bad every time. And as you know, with being adaptive, you adapt and overcome. You figure this shit out. Whether it feels like it could kill you or not, you got to just be a champ, and do your thing.
Man, I've seen those videos. I mean, you're dynamic on social media. I didn't know you were in that dark place until we talked just a little bit before this interview, that you were actually sitting in this spot, because that's the thing. A lot of people outside of the adaptive world don't really get all the setbacks that occur, especially on the amputee side, because the amputee side, there's so much that goes into this. And so here you are as a person that was a reality TV star. And you've had so much going on in your life. You're an artist, a star. You had your accident. I mean, you went viral everywhere for that. And then afterwards, now you're adapting to this life where you're missing your leg. And so all those setbacks, everything that's there, man, it's kind of expected that you're going to have those downs, especially with how much you got to go through, man. Your surgeries were pretty intense, man. How are you feeling right now?
So right now, I'm doing really well. I'm at an odd place where I'm just kind of learning how to soak in the gratitude of the moment, appreciate the things I have, not create enemies in my head, not make situations and worries that aren't there, not cater to the dramas that can ensue when we allow our fears to overcome us. But it's weird because so let's just say I'm at a really great place right now. and I was at the beginning of getting to a really great place last time we talked.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
so since then, I moved. I bought a house that I love very much. It's beautiful. It's mellow. It came fully furnished, like the way I would furnish things. It was so weird. It came with a car.
Yeah.
It was like I have a way of like stepping in shit and coming out smelling like
Your
roses.
house came with a car. Your old house was awesome too. You had like a dome, man.
Right. The old house was sick as fuck. It was just not in great shape. The
Yeah.
landlord, he didn't keep up with it, and it was a rough time. And then like with COVID and everything, we couldn't pay the bills for a while, and like then he started harassing us for money and didn't want to work with us, and it was stress and fear and worry and all that shit. But we pushed through, and here I am now in this house. Like I said, it's a really weird thing. The woman who we bought it from, her husband is dying, and they're from Canada, so they had to go back to Canada. This was going to be their retirement home, but
Mhm.
things changed,
Yeah.
and so now here we are. Uh, it is so uniquely me and Donna, the decor of the home. It was all furnished, and like TVs and stuff. There's a TV on the ceiling above the master bed,
Oh,
which
damn.
so cool. I love
Yeah.
watching TV in bed on top of the ceiling. But like it's just cool shit like that. It's so nice, great situation in there. I feel safe and stable in my home life, which is something I haven't felt in years. Due to moving from Florida to Indiana, uprooting my family, back in 2015, 16,
Yeah.
something like that. Somewhere around there-ish. I moved to Indiana, which is where my son lives now, which is where I just brought him to the airport to go back to, because he lives up there with his girlfriend. And they just got their own apartment. My son is 19, turning 20 on February 16th. So it's crazy that he's living this journey. It's so cool. Just so much, like so much good, so much crazy. So yeah, like my father passed away in September.
I saw that, man. I'm sorry.
Thank you, man. He's been sick for many years. He's been having a lot of ailments, and it ended up just being multi-system failure in the end.
Wow. Okay.
And we did this to keep this going, and that to keep that going, and this counteracted that, and then this made more problems for that. And so it was just a very delicate balancing act until finally, like me, my brothers, my mom, like we all sat down multiple times and like, hey, if you end dialysis, you end your life. And he kept agreeing to this for like a week. And dude, with the guy the way he was, he this might sound really crazy to some people. I'm not mad about it, but it was the way I grew up. My dad always took me and my brothers all aside separately and said, hey, if somebody has to kill me, you have to be the one.
Wow.
Like, somebody's got to pull the plug on me. I don't want to be shitting myself. I don't want people wiping my ass. I don't want to be a fucking burden. So if somebody's got to shoot me, Rob, I know you're the strongest one. You can do this. And he had this talk with each one of us. And we all realized this at the hospital when we all three talked about it. So it was very interesting. But yeah, man, he had just been preparing us for the point when he was no longer wanting to be here. And we had to help usher my mother into that decision because my mom didn't want to let go, which is totally understood. They have like the coolest, craziest Romeo and Juliet story. They met when she was 12 and he was 15. They started dating, I don't know, somewhere in there, got married by the time she was 14 or 15 or some shit. Maybe 16. I'm not really sure how the story goes, but I think it was like 14. It was very questionable. Like they got thrown in jail because like they ran away to be married together, like all kinds of wacky shit. So they spent this whole lifetime together. And my mom with tears in her eyes the whole time, she's like, he grew me up. Like he helped me become the woman I am. I wouldn't be what I am without him. So it was very hard for her to let go. But like our whole lives, he'd been like prepping us for this moment to help pry her hands off of him. Which seemed like grand design. Maybe not. Maybe it was just organic. Maybe it was just a wild dude fucking letting wild kids know, hey, do what you got to do one day. I don't know. But it was just really wild. And then shortly after that, my mom's dog died. So one of her dogs. So like, she's been going through a lot, but it's been wild because like I've been really able to communicate with my mom in this totally different way. It's been wild, man. Like she tells us all kinds of stories about our dad that he wasn't comfortable with her telling anyone because he was a very private man. He was 6'4" Cuban, came from Cuba, like really strong personality. So like it's really cool to hear stories about this dude, like his other sides that he didn't show to anybody. He held his cards close.
How
So
did he
it's
like for your dad? Like I kind of remember some of the stories from our first episode where he like, I mean, you kind of raised a little rough, man. You're definitely raised a little rough, you know what I mean? You didn't have a silver spoon put in your mouth and like, but how do you adapt to this idea of like, first, my son and my other son are going to be on reality TV and air it out everywhere, and then second, like then my son has his injury. Like how do you like respond to both those?
So okay, it's really weird. So like, and it's really weird because I've always had this like dichotomy in my life where we grew up rough, right? But we had money. So like, because he did things for money that maybe might not have been legal,
Yeah.
um, and the way my mom tells the stories and stuff, it's really like it's just like it's just a dude trying to feed his family type
Yeah.
shit,
Yeah.
right? Um, and so like we kind of grew up. We had financial. Well, my oldest brother, he's 8.5 years older than me.
Yep.
He was the poor one.
Yep.
My middle brother, he kind of was there during the transition, but he's 2.5 years older than me. So like he's closer to like my parents weren't struggling anymore when we were born type thing. So then by the time I came along, I was the baby. They weren't struggling anymore. Now my dad wasn't doing anything questionable, or not. Like it had all been turned into beauty salons back in the 80s when I was a kid. So they had beauty salons and they did that. And my dad was a giant fucking scary Cuban male with a long fucking gold pinky nail.
Jesus.
And,
Wow.
he would do hair and nails. And these women fucking loved this dude. And
Yeah.
my mother is this fucking crazy, crazy fucking lady. She used to joke like she was the madam and shit and he was the pimp. And like there was just wild people, always bright colors. My mom's boobs were always popping out of her shirt, bright colored hair, crazy makeup. Like my parents was crazy, man. My dad used to wear a spur on one boot. So like you could hear a boot click and then a spur. Like he was just a wild dude. They were very
Yeah.
different, just different than most people. And so that was their life. That's what the fuck we were. That was our incubator, man. So it wasn't really a rough life, so to say, but like my dad was rough on me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm insane, and I think my dad saw a lot of himself in me. Like my mom says this now that he's passed. She's like, daddy was, and it's really cool because when my parents talked about each other, they would call each other mommy and daddy still to this day. And like me and my middle brother still refer to them as mommy and daddy to each other. My oldest brother stopped that. But it's just like really funny because like be dead ass real stories, but like mommy and daddy in the stories. So like she was like, I used to tell daddy that you're the most like him. And that's why he butts heads with you. Because we're both mad independent.
Yeah.
We're both fucking insane. Like dude, I lost my leg being a nutcase. You
Join
know
the
what I'm
club,
saying?
man. Join the club. Yeah.
Right. So it's just like we were brought up in this crazy environment where like things was always wild. My parents, like my dad would come home from work Saturday night and be like, hey, we're going to Key West. And we'd hop in the car and drive down to Key West starting at 10 p.m. and just like get there sometime 8 hours later or some shit. Like it was just wild, but it was just always different. They moved around a lot when I was a kid. So once I became probably about 7 years old, they were very stable in one place. Then we moved to Melbourne like 10 years later. And
Yep.
then I've been in Melbourne ever since, with aside from me moving around. So like things were very crazy, a lot growing up. And then when the Ink Master stuff happened, me and my brother have always been at odds. We still be at odds a lot of the time.
Oh,
I've
those
had
were fiery videos, man. They got so many views too.
right,
So
and
many.
and because so many people can relate with like relational issues in the family,
Yep.
right?
Oh yeah.
Who doesn't have a brother or a cousin or somebody that they fucking butt heads with?
Yep.
My brother, I love him dearly. I wish whatever it is, we could get past it. But you know, I've learned to accept what is. So we were going through a lot of that, right? Then my parents are kind of torn. They're like, we want our sons to get along. And I'm always like, dude, I love you. Let's talk. And he is more like, no, fuck that. I don't trust you. I
Yeah.
don't care. Fuck off. It just, we just go through, it's very annoying. And I don't like it. And I'll do anything in my power to fix it. But when you're powerless in a situation, sometimes you just have to accept that. And that's what the universe is teaching you. That's the lesson that we learn. So I had to learn a lot of that. And I think my parents had a lot of like sorrow because we were going on TV fighting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
were
It's got to be
seasoned with
tough, man.
rivals. Yeah. I would tell my mom, yo, Ma, please tell Jason. I call him Jason, but he goes by Javo. I'd be like, please tell him like I want to talk to him. Like let's meet up beforehand. Let's get a game plan together. We're going to be around each other a lot, you know. Let's at least work this. And it took him until we got there to do that. And then we did that and we worked it out. But like it was very bittersweet. It was very bittersweet for them because they saw their children fighting on TV. They didn't get to see their children. They didn't feel like their children were getting to be successful because as parents, you don't want to see your kids fight. So like it was hard for them. I feel like I loved my Ink Master experience, as difficult as it was, and I benefited greatly from it. He feels differently about it. So like once again, they're very torn. So as you know, not everything is what it seems, right?
Yeah, well,
So like,
you love Ink Masters because you were the star, man. Like
you
you
know,
crush the videos, man. Like when you commentate on stuff, it's so funny. It's so good.
oh, so that's the Ink Mag stuff. That
Oh,
stuff.
Ink Mag.
So
Okay.
Ink Mag is like, oh, I love Ink Mag. Ink Mag is the dopest, dude. Because it's like it's getting the same amount of viewer base as Ink Master was without the stress. Like I'm just doing funny videos.
Oh God, it's so good. It's my favorite thing when that pops up on your feed. I'm like, here we go.
I love. Yeah, the Ink
Yeah.
Mag videos were fun, and like so the Ink Master stuff. It was difficult. My parents had to watch this. Then you know they see us both gaining our own successes, you know, separately. So they appreciated it, and then you know it's contentious. It's contentious, but then to like move forward to my injury.
Yeah.
Now a weird thing is, and that's kind of the theme, right, of my life. Everything's kind of unique, abnormal, weird.
Me too.
Right. So you get it. So I was when I moved into this house, there was some plants in the screen porch in the back. And I wanted to take those plants up and put some like fucking what is it called? The mini golf turf.
Oh
Like some
yeah, yeah,
big
yeah.
grass.
Some AstroTurf. Yeah.
Yeah, for the dogs to pee on because I had just gotten a new French Bulldog puppy and I had my Beagle. So I just wanted to, and I'm, you know, one-legged, it's kind of annoying sometimes. Like, I just wanted to be able to put them on the back porch and have them go somewhere. So my homie, I call him Pastor Don because he used to be a pastor, but he's real into like gardening and stuff. So he came over and he's one of my spiritual mentors, but just personal growth mentor. Like, he's a very good like male figure that I can look up to and respect and get some information from, an older head who's been through a lot of shit, you know. And he
Yeah,
was
I
here
need
looking-
one of those. I don't have one of those right
right,
now.
dude. It's so nice to have some, you know. And you know, he's one of the dudes I love to get to be around. So, you know, my dad passed away and I needed some gardening done. So he came over and helped me do the gardening and we were talking. And he was like, I told him, I was like, man, it's really odd that I'm so happy that my dad was here alive to tell me that he was proud of me when I got my leg back. Like, dude, he would like call me on the phone. That dude don't, you know, old school Cuban dude, you know what I'm saying? He don't call folk on the phone so much,
Yeah.
you know? So that's wild, right? So he'd call me just to see how I was, or like if my mom had called me, or if I called my mom, he'd pop on the phone and make sure he talked to me, make sure he like let me know how proud he was of me for keeping pushing through. And I'm like, you know, I'm kind of like scratching my head, like, you know, I'm doing what you've always taught me to do, is just be a bulldozer, be a tank, you know, just like handle the shit that comes your way, especially if you're partially responsible for it, so, take my part of the responsibility and move forward. And it was just so cool that I got to feel what a little boy always wants to feel from his dad. And I think the inner boy, my little boy inside, like finally got to hear my dad say, "I'm proud of you."
Yeah. That's amazing, man. Cause you're like a pretty tough dude. You're a very rugged guy. And like to have that moment after years, cause like if you listen to our first episode, you did have like a very different. I mean, it was definitely in like late 80s, 90s upbringing with like interests and stuff, but not many people are like tattooing lighters. You know what I mean? Not many people, like that's not what we're doing when we're 12. When we're 12, we're playing hide and seek or some shit. And
Yeah,
so
that
like,
didn't interest me.
yeah, no, you were already like, you had your future set, man. But like,
I was hooked.
yeah, the idea that your dad came back full force. You talked about getting your leg back on. Actually, before we get into that, like I saw these videos. A lot of them are now starting to float on your Instagram. And you've got Rad Inc. Florida, you've got Robbie, you've got your account. This is all in the show notes. And then you're now on TikTok too, showing
Mhm.
all of this stuff go down. Rad Inc. Florida. Man, you get some followers quick. I moseyed over to your TikTok like a week ago and saw all the work you're doing. You're a really creative person. You have so much creativity in you while you're doing all this stuff, man. But your platform is growing. And so I talked
Yeah,
about
dude.
the Instagram and TikTok. Your platform is growing, man. People can invest in you. I'm so invested in you. You're like one of the guests that I'm like, I'm laying in bed. I don't have a TV on a ceiling like you, but I do want to know what Robbie's doing.
That's
Where's your
so awesome.
platform at?
Thank you, man. Thank you. And it's weird once again to go back to like the beginning of our conversation, where I said I have a hard time accepting that praise, right?
Yeah.
I had a very hard time understanding that people are like invested in my story, my journey, my this, my that. Um, and oh man, my son just texted me. He made it home to Indiana
Yes.
safe.
Baby
Right.
Ripple's doing good.
So a couple months ago, I don't know if you saw when I was down South Florida, I went to go visit Tyler Nolan the last time my son was in town. We went to Tyler Nolan's house, and he's got a crazy dude. He's got a venom room. He's got gators in a pond in a crazy enclosure on his back porch. Monitor lizards on the back in the backyard. Like, dude, he's got a crazy fire chicken, a big macaw that flies around the house openly and like steals certain people's things because she likes fucking with people.
Damn.
And, dude, she was so cool. She would try to trick me into getting close to her and then try to bite me.
Oh,
So
wow.
she'd play sweet and nice just to fucking lure you in, dude. She's so cool. He had 3 Sphinx cats. That's what put me over the edge and made me
Yeah.
decide to get a Sphinx cat. So like I went to Tyler's house and we were doing dabs in his kitchen, and he's like, "Bro," he's like, "Look, motherfucker," and he was hype. He was like, "Dude, you are the fucking one." He's like, "Man, when it comes to YouTube, when it comes to fucking, dude, you
Mhm.
need to get your shit moving. Like, people want to hear what you have to say. You're positive. You got one leg. You do crazy shit. You're cool as fuck. You're colorful. You do sick tats." He's like, "Bro, if you're not doing the YouTube thing, you're fucking up." And it was like,
Mhm.
man, it's taken so much push from so many people to move this much because
Wow.
of my own insecurities. Because
That's
of my own,
crazy.
dude, right?
What?
Right, dude. My guy Chad. So me and Chad are doing a podcast, and he's doing a lot of the production stuff for me. Dude, he was sending me episodes for like 3 weeks, and I wasn't posting anything about him.
Oh my
And
God.
dude, check me out. And I was like, I'd like share the shit that he posted, but I wouldn't
Yeah.
post it on my own platforms, right? Like
Yeah.
all my platforms. I just posted on
Oh.
my Facebook because so this was the reason.
You
I
didn't
sent
like
him
how
a
you
message one
sounded?
day.
What?
I was like, dude, I feel like people aren't going to like this stuff, so I'm embarrassed to put it out. I'm scared to put it out.
Oh
And
my
he's like,
God.
dude, that's what's been holding you back. And Chad is all about like, dude, he's got crazy OCD, like excessive OCD.
Yeah.
So not crazy. Sorry, that was.
I got a little batch of it too. So Chad and me are little homies. So for
Right.
that.
So like, and I get kind of obsessive too. I just don't really.
Yeah.
I guess I plow through it some.
Yeah, we don't knock on wood too much.
Yeah, right. No shit. But dude, he does a lot of OCD, counseling with people and stuff. And he's like, dude, that's the reason why you're not putting this out. Like, are you serious? Like, so, and then to hear Chad say that, and then I started researching myself, dude. I dead ass researched myself. I Googled myself, and I started looking at the numbers I'm getting on certain things.
Yeah.
To prove to myself what a loser I was and how low the numbers were going to be and why I shouldn't keep moving. Dude, this is my brain. This is my thought process, right?
Jesus.
So I decide this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go ahead and prove what a fucking loser I am and look at how bad my numbers are. And then I see your stuff that I did with you.
Oh, yeah, you crushed it. Everybody loved you.
I was like, what's going on? And then, with the Ink Mag stuff, I don't expect those views have anything to do with me. Because it's Ink Mag. They have the platform. And it's funny. So when I talk to the dudes from Ink Mag and we do the videos, they're like, dude, the internet loves you. And it's just so interesting how many times I've heard the internet loves you. You're made for TV. You're made for this. You're made for that. And I have a very hard time accepting it.
Sometimes I think you hit too easy too. Like, because you're dynamic enough, you're one of the people that you could throw out something and then all of a sudden, many thousand views later, you got the gratification quick. And somebody like you going into long form of podcast with a variety type show and everything, it takes time, a little bit more time than maybe you're used to, because you've had so much success. And podcasting's a bitch. Podcasting is such a bitch, but you've had so much success across the board. I mean, to have that many people on the Living Adaptive side all just dive into your story for an hour and 5 minutes. I mean, just tens of thousands love what you were saying, everything about you. And that you said, are they there for me, or are they're there for you? This is your stage when you come on here. They're there for you. And that's crazy to think that, Robbie, of all people that I've interviewed, it'd be you and Nee Miller of all the people I think wouldn't say what you just said.
Right. Well, and I think that's why I push so hard, because I'm like, so Donna is my girlfriend. She is the most amazing partner. And she deals with a lot of me. And one thing she'll be able to tell you is I am so hard on myself.
Yeah.
Therefore, I can be so hard on everyone around me, because if I expected out of you what I expected out of me, we couldn't be friends. So the amount of expectations I put into people is like such a fraction of what I do to myself. And like, I get fucked up in this brain process because I inherently have a negative thought process.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have to do a lot of work to work around that. And I used to be embarrassed about that. And I still do get embarrassed about that sometimes. When I'm in an emotional state where my ego is running rampant and I can't grasp it. But like, it's just weird recognizing that, I put so much pressure on myself so I don't see the accomplishments. And
I think that's what makes you accomplish so much though sometimes, because like those that I see are very successful. You talked when we got into this interview earlier, you had a million setbacks. You lost a parent. That's like the peak of setbacks, man. And like you couldn't put your prosthetic leg on to move. People don't get that. They don't understand that. You're losing so much that was going down, but at the same time, you said you put so much on yourself. That's probably why you weathered it so well too. I mean, you built a studio. You have a studio right now that is just Rad Inc. Florida that is just crushing it. It's so cool. You've got people that work with you, people that surround you all the time. And I think it is that tireless efforts that you put in that separates you.
Yeah, and it's weird, man, because like, so when I was actually going to film an Ink Master Redemption episode a few years ago, I was reading this book called Emotional Intelligence 2.0. And I did the quizzes throughout, I did the workbook that came along with it. It was just so weird seeing that, like, once again, where I was like, oh, you're going to find out what a loser you are. I was more self-aware of my negatives than I was of my positives
Wow. Okay.
It wasn't that I had more negatives, it's that I was more self-aware of them, and I put more of a focus on them. I was 51% aware of my negatives and 49% aware of my positives. And I was like, okay, I only have a little bit of work to get to more positive, but at the same time, I have a lot of work to get to where I'm comfortably balanced in this, to where I'm not just constantly beating myself to death. And then, like, man, having grace with yourself, having an attitude of gratitude, it's like, so many times after all the efforts I put into the gym, I look at myself and I'm like, oh, you're still fat. And it's like, fuck, stop it. And I have to, like, really bounce myself out of that. And it's so wild. Like I said, I'm inherently negative. And I think that's why I choose to motivate, because I have to. In
Well,
my
you're
own
that
life.
creative mind though, too. Like if you were born hundreds of years ago, you'd be like tattooing the Sistine Chapel. Like you're that dude that like gets out and gets it done. But like the idea of like how many, like you talk about working out, you talk about all this, how many like things can you have in a fire? And so like you have so much going on. That was one thing I thought, does Robbie ever sleep? Like when does he get a break? Because I don't sleep much either. I've got so many projects going on and I feel like you've got more.
So okay, so now I'm starting to write a book, but
Mhm.
I'm starting to use my resources where I have the universe is brilliant. I have The Secret tattooed in my palm.
Oh, nice.
That's from the book The Secret.
Yeah,
It's
sure,
about
sure.
the law of attraction.
Yep.
So if you guys haven't checked that out, it was like my introduction to positive thinking begets positive results,
Sure.
as a practice. My
Yep.
mom bought it for me for Mother's Day one year, because when I was a single dad, I was one of the moms too. So like my mom would buy me gifts and I would buy her gifts, and like it was all like I would get like a rose and a fucking champagne at mom's breakfast and
Oh,
stuff.
that's amazing.
Like, yeah, so it was cool. And she bought me this book and it was awesome. And I read it and I was like, dude, this is great. And so like I just started thinking about, you know, how to do this positive thinking thing. And it became a thing over time. And it's just
Yeah.
weird that here we are now, and
You tracked everybody. That idea of law of attraction. What were you like as man, you as a single dad would be the coolest. Cause like if you wanted a tattoo, it's a yes. If you want to go meet somebody famous, that's gonna happen. If you want to like, like do a lot of cool shit, like you as dad would be so fun. Did like, were you more strict or you like, what were you like with like as a dad? More strict or
um
just,
so me and my son actually were just talking about this last night, and so one of the coolest times, all the coolest times that I remember, dude, I loved sitting in a hot tub talking to my kid.
yeah.
And like we were sitting in my hot tub last night and we were talking. And he was telling me about how, I've made some poor decisions. A lot of it decided it was around who I let into my life and my son's life. And he was telling me like, I'm sorry about this situation. I'm mad about this situation. It was uncomfortable. It sucked. I wish it wasn't that way. Um, and then when that situation ended, I can't believe how much you were still there and you weren't a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Because like me and him were both being gaslighted. So it was like, and I was traveling a lot. So he was being left in, the care of somebody I thought I could trust that I couldn't.
Damn.
So it's really cool to see that he and I, we found our way through that. But he understands. He understands the struggle of, hey man, some weird decisions went down, but like he knows I was always there for him. Like his bio mom, she's back in his life. She's an amazing human. She's really on the upswing. She wasn't there for a lot of his life, and she had some really hard times with drugs and crime and shit that she wouldn't do again. And like now, we went through all these weird stages, and like here we are. She's like happy, healthy living. He's growing and prospering, and I'm happy, healthy living. And it's like really cool to see that this dude, man, we went through some weird times, but like we're still there together, like, and he's doing music right now. His stuff, JTL Jado on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, on social media, Instagram. Dude, the kid's killing it. And he's just got to keep doing more and more and more. So this is really cool. I don't even know what the beginning of the question was, but
How he likes it's exactly answered. How's life like with dad? You know, like that sounds
oh
awesome. Like
yeah.
the thing is, he's stuck in Indiana. You can't throw him a bone and get him down to Florida and get him out of there, man.
So the thing is, he loves it there because his chick is there,
Yeah.
and she's got family there, and like I'm, we had a conversation about it today. I was like, dude, I want you here for sure. But like, if this is your journey and this is where you're meant to be, I'm happy you're there. If your chick is, happiness and she's a safe, strong, peaceful place, I want you to be there. I also want you to be here selfishly. But like, at some point in time, like he came down and he met a dude that makes beats and stuff like that. So I try to connect him with as many people in the music industry as I can, or not even as much the music industry, more independent artists that are doing it,
Yeah.
without fucking record label and all the bullshit, doing it this way nowadays, so yeah, growing up with me it was weird, it was interesting, it was kind of like the way that I grew up. There's things about me that he wishes he could change. Sure, parents, I get it. But I feel like he has more respect, love, and reverence for me than the things that he wishes he could change.
Yeah, man.
So,
That's good though.
oh, dude, it's great, and like, he had to grow up without dad sometimes, and that was rough. When I was filming Ink Master, when I was traveling a lot, I was building this brand, and it's funny that you're like, man, you hit so fast, so easy, and it's like, oh, it was so
Oh
hard.
no, yeah, I know. There's so much work in that. To say that, that's
Right.
actually insulting. So I'm going to take that back.
No,
It really is though. Like the work that you put in.
it's been a lot of years, it's been a lot of time. I've spent 25 years becoming an overnight sensation, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was cool work, and my son, I respect him and he respects me, and we love each other very much. Like, dude, my backyard, when me and him, when we were single guys, I had a fucking giant patio with a skate ramp,
With all,
like a
you had
big
a
half
skate
pipe.
ramp in there. Sorry, I'm just
Dude,
interested.
where there's a half pipe and a fucking hot tub and a fucking above the ground pool and a wet bar by my grill, and like, dude, it was like we would have the grown up party area right next to where the kids would be chilling, mad spray cans everywhere so they could spray paint the ramp up. Like, dude, it was just I like to have fun. I liked to give my
Me
kid a
too.
fun time. I was strict too. I wanted to teach him good work ethic and good human skills. And I know I was plenty too strict sometimes because, uh, parents aren't always perfect. But
No.
like, I feel like when I moved away from Indiana, once again, another part of our story that's kind of weird and different, like he was 17 finishing high school when I moved out of the house
Sure.
because it got sold. And I was like, look, you can come on the road with me. We can finish your high school on the road, or you can stay here. And he found a place to live with friends, and
Mhm.
they were great people. And it's actually his girlfriend's family. And so he's been staying with them until just recently got his own apartment. But like, so it's been really cool. Like when we had that week or two of, hey man, we're about to not live together for the first time in your whole life.
Wow.
Um, we would cry and talk about a lot of shit. And I was like, dude, I'm sorry for being a fucking drunk party animal at the house on the back porch. And he's like, dude, are you kidding me? It was so cool. Like I had all the freedom. I got to do whatever I wanted basically. I'd play video games, hang out, eat really tasty food, hang out with your friends, talk shit, and then go watch TV and go to sleep. So it was just really wild hearing that perspective. And like, now that he's more grown, hearing other perspectives, the things that I thought he would carry with him versus the things that didn't. So now it's really cool being grown-ups together, because I was like 21 when he was born, like 20. So like, we
Yeah,
kind
you were
of
a
grew up
baby.
together. Yeah, dude, I'm 40, he's 20. I'm not really that old. You know what I'm saying? So like we very much grew up together. So
Dude, we're the
it's
same age. I remember that from last time. I have a 15-year-old. Sometimes they mess with me. They're like my kids. They're like, I wish you'd wear like khaki shorts and like football and shit and like and do the regular stuff. Sometimes I'm like, I can't do that, man. I can't do that.
absolutely not.
Oh my God, no. And so like yeah, sometimes I'm like, did I mess them up? Because they get into the public a little bit and stuff like that. And that's
Right. Yeah,
y-
same,
yeah, your
But like,
kid's really into the public though at times, like with everything going on, man. Like when we talked about the platforms you're building and stuff like that, the idea though of having a dad or a parent in general, a mom, a dad, whatever, with the connections you do. What a cool thing to have, you know?
Yeah, it was funny. Like one day, and like he didn't always, make too much a big deal about like, me having a cool life or whatever, because he didn't really know much different. That was what he knew. Dad's still
Yep.
lame. Like when I was driving my one Cadillac I had to school, driving him to school in the Cadillac, I'd drop it down on the floor when I pull up. Like, Dad's not allowed to hit hydraulics at the school. And then like when the kids seen it, then when he got in the car later on that day, he was like, Dad, everybody likes your hydraulics. I was like, you little bum. Like,
Yeah.
so like, we went through a whole lot of that. And so, now here we are, kind of the same, but like he's doing his own thing. So, I'm really proud of him with his music. We're talking about wanting to do TikToks together and like, YouTube stuff together and whatnot. But like this dude, he's a talented kid, and I'm like so proud to have him around me. And like, dude, when this motherfucker teaches me shit, like when we talk, bro, like, man, he dropped some knowledge on me about two people close to me in my life, and I was like, fuck. I was like, damn, this kid has some insight. So like, it's just really cool. And especially like, cause that 15 to 20 range is totally different. That 5 years is so crazy.
It's huge. It's huge, man.
Huge. Like this dude has his own car, his own house, or his own apartment, like he does his own thing. Like he does his own taxes, like he's got his own platforms he's building, he creates his own music. Like, dude, it was so cool. Like for his graduation, he asked for all the stuff to make an at-home recording studio. So I was like, yes, let's do it.
Yeah,
so
do
I
it.
got that, and now he's like killing the game, dude. So yeah, man, I'm so proud of him. I'm just like, it's cool that we get to even work together remotely with the internet world. Like, as I'm sitting here, I'm like, yo, we should do like TikTok duets and like freestyle back and forth, because that's one of my hidden talents that I don't really use a whole lot. I'm really good at freestyling for a dude that you wouldn't expect to be good at it. So
That's great. That's great. That's going to go on TikTok, right? Like it's
yeah, dude. Yeah. So with TikTok, I started my TikTok for me, and I hit really good, over 100,000 views when I mixed some resin for the cabinets for my studio.
Yeah,
and
that was bad. I like that video.
Dude, that video is so fun.
Sick,
and
yeah.
I was still getting used to my prosthetic at that time too. So that video was cool. It did well. It made me believe I could do this. Then I got lame and I got scared again. So I was like, I'm not going to do none. So I stopped doing videos for a while. And then the other day I started doing tattoo videos. And then I had a video that hit, it's almost at 200,000 views. And it's just some little knuckle bangers that I did on a girl. And I was like, man, let me change focus of this TikTok and turn it into only tattoo stuff, because I know tattoo. I know how to market tattoo. Hi, honey.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good. So this is Donna, everybody.
Yeah, that's Donna and Mavis. So I know how to do tattoo marketing, right?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Like, let me start doing these tattoo videos. And then now, like, so I just created a different TikTok for myself today of like weird ASMR type shit that I see in the real world.
Yeah.
So like, so I just went and did my first suspension back since my amputation.
Oh shit, you went back onto suspension? We can't skip that. What the hell? How'd you even get to the courage? I don't know. What do you want to call it?
Told you my weekend was fucking wild.
Oh my God, that's beyond wild. For people, let me fill in people that might not know, is that you had a suspension accident, a body piercing suspension accident.
Yeah, May 10th, 2019.
Yeah, that changed everything. That brought you part of the community, the adaptive community. Everybody's a member, but this time you're hardcore. And so like Robbie dropped, shattered his leg, had some surgeries, and couldn't save. It was just going to be a lot of complications, and became a BK, below knee amputee. So for people that don't know, and then from there, like you went viral on that. Well, you were already viral. You already had a ton of videos out there. You had a little bit of with Tosh and others and stuff like that. You really went into that.
After the amputation, that one I'm not happy about.
Neither am I.
They asked about it, And I told them no. Actually, one of their parent companies asked about it. I told them this is the price, and no communication back. And then all of a sudden I'm on Tosh.0 having him destroy me when I'm about to go into surgery the next day.
Yeah, what a dick.
Yeah. So Tosh, I'm sorry you need a hug so bad, bro. Like, who the fuck hurt you, man?
Yeah, his team behind it sucks. I mean, you hear things out here and stuff like that, but like that was kind of fucked, man. But like,
it hurt my feelings a lot.
Yeah,
it really did. It bummed me out. And you know, at the end of the day, dude, no publicity is bad publicity. So fuck you, Tosh. I'm still winning. You know, like, I'll give you a hug, but fuck you. You know, like it was unfair. I feel like it was just harmful. It hurt my demeanor. I was already in a low spot. I didn't need to be kicked while I was down.
Yep.
But you know, it taught me that I'm stronger than that. So, you know, I made a Facebook Live about, you know, how I felt. And I was fairly open about it, and, you know, let everybody know I was pissed and hurt. And, you know, that made me feel better because that was all I could do from a hospital bed, I felt like. And, you know, that was really not even the most of it. I had so much other great publicity from Ink Mag and just the YouTube videos just going everywhere. You know, the Ink Mag YouTube videos, and then the Ink Mag supported me so much. Throw a link up for them here too, if you don't mind.
Yeah, we'll throw up for Ink Mag. I try to tag them in everything. So whenever I promote.
I've never told them this, so it'd be nice to know that they can hear this, but they helped me so much just by like supporting me, sharing my story, sharing the GoFundMes that I didn't make, that so many people said that I was doing this for money, that I set up my GoFundMes and I was lying. There was so much drama that went around those GoFundMes, but it was really nice that people were there for me to help support us through that.
And now you're back though. You're like back. Like I didn't even watch the first video. I'm going to be honest with you. I just couldn't watch it, you know? And so like, but you're back. That is some fucking courage, man.
Yeah. So sorry, I deviated. So yeah. So Ink Mag, they put me in a lot of the videos right after the amputation and stuff. And that helped me feel better. They just documented my story along the way and just kind of shared it with the community. Like, hey, you know, we're vying for Robbie. And that was really cool. So, you know, much love, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know, they've been phenomenal throughout a lot of this, just with, you know, showing support. And then, you know, doing the suspension again now, that was more recent. And like that was this weekend. That was Sunday.
Where's the coverage for that, man? You're talking about vlogging and everything. We should have had a countdown clock.
So I have a ton of video that Donna took on her phone.
Nice.
So I'm going to work on putting a lot of that together. Yeah, so it was wild. You know, you ask where I got the courage or the balls or the whatever it took.
Yeah, whatever.
I love suspension.
Mm-hmm.
I did. I never won't. You know, like there's something it does to you, man. Pushing yourself to that type of limit is wild. And it's just like, it builds so much inner strength. And it releases so much negativity that needed to be purged. So, you know, with that being said, I needed to get back to it. I never denounced suspension. I just knew it was not something I was going to do for exhibition's sake anymore.
Yeah.
It was only going to be for me. And so this one, like I felt like a Make-A-Wish kid, man. We went to our good friend's house and they facilitated for us. So it was just wild that everybody was there for me, you know, like everybody was like, look, this is your day. This is your suspension. You know, how do you want it? What do you want? You know, what kind of music do you want? You know, this and that, you know, and so I just wanted to go up. I just needed to get it done. You know, it just needed to be something that I faced. And so when I did it, it was beautiful. It was brilliant. It was strong. It was clarifying. It was painful. It
worried?
was like what's up?
Were you really worried?
Not that I was going to fall,
Mm-hmm.
but the pain, man.
Oh yeah. Shit.
it felt like my first time all over again, which was really cool. Cause like, you ever have those experiences where you're like, I wish I could go back and do it all over again, knowing what I know now. Well, I did. I knew I was going to make it. I knew I've done this a million times. And so like, it was weird. Cause like I went up and came down like 4 different times. And like, I kind of gave myself a different experience every time.
Wow.
And it was really cool. Like at one point in time, I went up and took off my leg, and I wanted to have this cool picture of me coming out of my leg. And then the leg topples over, and a little joint roach falls out. So I had no idea that I was carrying around a joint roach in my fucking leg. So that was funny.
What a reclaim, though, man. Like, I
Dude.
don't hear that often.
Oh man, and it was wild because like, so when I did it, I sat in a chair backwards, and I got a couple of photos I'll share with you so you can put them in here. And I was sitting in the chair backwards, and there's a few times you sit in a chair backwards like that. If you're dicking around talking and just fucking around the room, no big deal, or if you're getting hooks in your back. Like, it's a very fucking familiar pose for me, man. So
Yeah.
I get in this pose and I hug the chair, and then boom. It fucking hit me, man. And like, what the fuck? Like, here we are again, like here I am. And like, I wasn't even worried about the pain. It was just like this, it was like, I knew, like I said, going into it, I had the experience of knowing what it was going to be like, but like a first timer all over again. So like, I got to go into this being like, fuck, this sucks. But you're going to achieve something at the end of this road. So keep pushing through all this. So as the tears came, I just had to allow them to flow. And it was rough.
Yeah.
Being vulnerable in front of people and shit, because I'm still a fucking man and I'm an idiot and I have ego. So it was hard to shed those layers. And but I had no choice. So I just sat there and just let it all go. And Donna was like hugging me, and like my friend Shannon, I felt her energy, and Frankie and Sean, they were giving me love. So like, and then Tony was over there just watching. I had one spectator, and it was just, my homie was just over there watching, every so often throwing some encouraging words. And it was just like really wild that everybody was so there for me. Like I said, I felt like a Make-A-Wish kid. Like, they wanted to make sure I fucking felt fed and happy and healthy and just all around loved. And they wanted to make sure my heart was full. And that's like what the experience was given. Like, the intention that was put into this was, like redemption. Cause my buddy Sean, he's the one that held the ropes. He held the ropes again. He pierced me this time, so like, it was just a very intense, emotionally cleansing, and very close and very tribal type of thing. I remember one point in time, when I was ready to go up, I told Sean, all right, let's go. And he pulls me up, and he's a huge motherfucker, but the pulley system wasn't very strong, so he had to really huck it. And like, he screamed, and it wasn't just like this regular thing that a dude fucking exerting energy was doing. Like, he was going through something, And then I got to the top, and then I was like at the top of the rig, like when I was like, all right, I'm good. So he had me high up, probably like 4 or 5 feet off the ground. And I started screaming at that point in the similar fashion. And it was very tribal. Because we were both, it was like almost a call and repeat type of like crazy, like ritual.
Yeah.
And then, it hurt.
Yeah.
It hurt. It was hurting at different points, but it hurt. And I was like, fuck, like my whole body was weighing on it. And I was like, shit, how do I do this for 3 minutes at a time? How do I do this up there for a whole song? No wonder why I'm running around everywhere, because, if I'm acting crazy, I'm not paying attention to the hooks. So like, it was this whole quiet, peaceful, concentrated, pain facing the experience of it. And that was the first time I went up. And very quickly afterward, I was like, all right, I'm ready to go down. and then, we went up a couple different times, and, the music was very, very, very deep and very, it's called Blackmill Radio on Pandora. It's what I was listening to. So it was a very like trancey, very ambient, it just makes me feel type of music that I had for the first 2 times I went up. And then I turned it on Fetty Walk Radio for the next 2, and it got more playful. And something left and something new came. So it was really cool to see that, to feel that, to experience that, and to now learn, like, being able to process that. So yeah, it was super cool, and to be able to talk about it this in depth directly afterward, because it's only Wednesday now. So, and then I went to Animal Kingdom on Monday.
Oh, I love that park.
Oh, dude, it's so cool. I loved it, man. I made friends with a fucking pig, and like, it was just a really cool time. And then yesterday, I spent the whole day with my kid, and then took him to the airport today. So like, I really haven't had time to process it. So it's kind of cool being able to talk about it and like explore it a little more.
I get it though. I've had the privilege of covering your story. I've had the privilege of knowing all the things that went down. What a lot of people won't understand is that when you suffer an accident like this, you're built with hope that you're going to regain movement of that leg. And you go through the surgeries and the setbacks and the sitting on a couch, the chair, and oh, fuck, it didn't work. We got to go on again. And oh, fuck, it didn't work again. And it just keeps coming fucking
you
back.
Guys just take it. No, we got to keep doing this. Like, no,
yeah, there's arguments. Can you take it off? Can you not take it off? Why shouldn't we? Why not? Filling you with everything. The whole world's fucking ending every time, every surgery, over and over. And then while that's going on, you're not just somebody that just had this accident. It's playing out in a public eye. And then not only is it playing out in a public eye, you're like dealing with the idea of like, my whole career is on hold. How am I going to tattoo? How am I going to do all this shit? Everything's on hold right now. I'm swollen. I'm messed up. I'm going through all this, and your friends are around you, your friend that hoisted you up. Everybody is probably really emotional. Everybody's pretty, it's got to be a pretty crazy experience, because now after all this shit, yes, you're less one leg, you're less one real human leg, but like you reclaimed your ground again. That's an amazing story.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, for me, I guess I just kind of looked at it as a rematch, but didn't realize that what that really meant. I just looked at it as the word rather than the meaning.
Yeah.
And it totally was, man. I got a very warm, beautiful feeling out of suspension again. I got what I was hoping for, because I didn't like to have expectations, more so positive intentions. And I just put good intentions into it, and I got a good experience, a beautiful experience. And here I am now, still walking around, dude. Like, I can leg press over 1,000 pounds.
I saw that, man. That's monster.
Like that's crazy. So I'm just keep overcoming the old versions of self. Like I got to land a backflip on a wakeboard before I die. Like there's a couple more like little marks on the bucket list I need to hit, but I feel like I'm doing a good job of living my best life, man. Like I'm not ready to be done with this life yet. But I know I've definitely lived the fuck out of it.
Yeah, you've lived the fuck out of life for sure. I hate the idea of wasting a minute of life, and you've never wasted that minute. Like there's always something you're doing out there, at least from what I can see from my view. There's always something you're doing or making or things like that. But like I had no idea you went back up. Getting into this interview, I had no idea, because that's a crazy part of this story, is how much you went through and then came out the other side. I mean, I guess that's how this whole show, Living Adaptive, started. And we got into the stories that were like, here's this adversity, here's that. And oftentimes you pay attention to the athletes, if you will, like the formal athletes. I mean, being suspended is as athletic as it gets for me. You know what I mean? And like that gets a story, but that wasn't the case. The people wanted the artists. They wanted the people that are making these movements. Like this whole idea of RAD movement, it's dynamic. It's this whole idea of like, you're a good enough person and get moving. At least what I take from it, man.
Yeah, dude. Started with the little I'm RAD tattoo.
Yeah.
And it's just about like being the best version of yourself, like finding the gems that the universe implanted inside of you. Like everybody's got greatness stored inside of them, and it's their job, it's our job to find our own personal greatness. And that's what the rad movement's all about. Just like you're rad, like I'm rad, and so are you. Let's fucking get on board. You know what I'm saying? I'm not winning alone. Let's win together. I don't feel like a winner a lot of the time. So remember that, guys. Like sometimes when you're winning, you still don't feel like it, because you're running the race and you're fatigued and you're beat down, but you're winning. When you're healing, that's not pretty. You're hurting. You're closing up. You're coming together. Everything's, mending. That hurts. That sucks. You know what I'm saying? So like to the whole concepts of these words and the ways we live, it feels so much different than the words sound. And we forget that, So here we are winning, hurting. Here we are healing, feeling like shit.
And when we're winning, it's never enough. Another download, another 10,000 downloads, another million, whatever. It just never is enough.
Bro, dude. And like I've finally gotten to the point where I feel so accomplished when Chad hits me up and says, hey, there's a comment on YouTube, and I go to check it and I'm like, wow, this person's speaking to me about what I'm putting out there. Yeah, there may only be 33 views, but you know what, man? One fucking person.
Yeah.
That hit home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like something that took me minutes to put together. It didn't go in vain. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm just really excited about the fact that I actually am getting to see and feel the impact, because man, I've been getting so many positive comments for so long, from verbal speech to, online and text form. And it's like, you just kind of forget that people mean it when they reach out.
Yeah, I do. You got a lot of comments on my area. I got DMs and other stuff too that came in, just besides like the YouTube videos and Instagram and stuff like that. I will say that the closest thing to a negative one is like an older person from a flyover state, and they're like, he's really, like basically the words are, he's really dynamic. I just don't get all the tattoos. I thought that was hilarious. I'm like, that's the worst comment that I that you could get, is like an older person be like, I don't get tattoos. And so like, I thought that was funny, but like the rest,
like that, because like chances are when I meet people like that, we spend a couple minutes talking and they get my perspective. Even if they don't understand it, they grasp my perspective to a degree, and they can understand that I have a perspective that is valid.
Yeah. My little sister lived in a tattoo studio when she was like 17 or 18, something like that. So like, I always grew up around it, but like, if I visit a state like Utah, if you have like a tattoo in Utah or something that's like right above us in Vegas, it's like, dude, you're Satan up there. Some shit like that.
You know what's funny? So Salt Lake City is actually breaking free of that for a little bit.
Wow.
There's a really cool tattoo scene up there.
What?
It's more underground, but yeah, dude, it is really real. Maybe not in the surrounding areas, but in the groups that I know up there, there's some people really thriving in tattooing. So it's wild to see it break even, those type of stereotypes that are so strong in that area, man. So I love seeing the stereotypes get broken.
Me too.
Our studio is called RAD Inc., and it's for a reason. RAD comes from the RAD movement. You know what I'm saying? So like, I wanted to take the RAD movement and make that the vehicle that drives the tattoo studio. So that way, when you come in, you don't get, you pick it, I stick it. You don't get, the fuck do you want? You're not cool enough to be here. You don't get those weird put off vibes that you get in a lot of tattoo studios.
Yeah.
Like, dude, my fucking floor is sparkly and shit. There's over $2,000 in glitter in the studio.
I know, it's amazing. If you started a cult, I'd be in, just based on your designs. You know what I mean?
Decor, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, we're building a deck on the back of it right now. Like I said, for like live music stuff, and just like to add to the waiting room area, and just to add to the aesthetic of the studio, because the entrance is in the back. So it's a very unique design all the way around, but it is uniquely me. And it makes the people, like all of our artists, everybody organically formed. Everyone that came, that was supposed to be there, came and was supposed to be there. Everybody that came and gone was meant to come and go, and we're glad they were there. You know what I'm saying? So like every step of the way, it's just been very organic. And like one of the biggest things we get, other than wow, we love the way this place looks, is I can't believe how nice you guys are, how real you guys are. You know, how I feel like when I come here, I can be myself. I have a lot of people that say that, which is like, man, I'm sorry you can't be yourself in real life. But yes, that's you can do that here. You know, people that are like, oh, there was a girl getting her back worked on, and Zach Diamond, he's one of the artists at the studio. I just did an interview with him on the RAD Movement. We just posted that. It's the Make It Rain video.
Yeah, we'll have the links to the RAD Movement and everything too.
Cool.
So
Cool.
people that can't remember, we got you.
Perfect. Yeah, link that video to this one because that'll be
Yep.
cool. But so she was in his chair getting a back piece fixed, and he calls me over, and I was like, here, let me see the Sharpie real quick. So I sketched some things out, and I'm like, you know, like this, like this, like this, and he's like, oh, cool, 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 and she starts crying,
Oh shit.
and you know, so I start rubbing her back and stuff, and I don't know what's going on, but I imagine it's something, you know, and she's like, nobody has spent this much time and effort on me ever in a tattoo, you know? And I was like, dude, that's so fucking cool, you know? And like, so I just sat there and consoled her and just let her cry it out and let her just have her moment. And we're her home studio, you know? Like she comes in just to tell us about what's going on in her life, you know? Like, and Donna, she's the front of the studio. So she sits there and talks to everybody about everything every time. So it's really cool, man. The dynamic we've built. We've given people a safe haven to come and get tattooed, to feel love, but to also feel real. Because I don't, you know, I'm still, you know, my crazy, wild, you know, sometimes dickheaded self. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think that comes with it when you're always so approachable and stuff. At some points, that kind of pushes off. But like I think about your studio and stuff. At first, I'd love to see a couple mics set up in a corner, and you bring people over that just randomly came in and just start rolling with them, making some episodes with the, you know, people coming in because there's such deep stories behind it, you know. And then,
I've definitely thought about that, and now I'm really getting more into it. I got myself a gimbal so I can get some really cool
nice
quality video and like, you know, set it up on a tripod and stuff. So I'm
OnlyFans though. I'm not saying do OnlyFans. We need like an OnlyFans version where it's like live in your studio where we can actually see, like, I guess people don't want to be seen tattooing, but like at the same time, just knowing you're there, knowing you're doing that stuff, because like there is that energy, the idea that you're gonna have music on your deck in the back, like you are building a village, you know, right there.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing. That's why, like, I've gone back and forth with my YouTube name. Should it be Robbie Ripoll? Should it be the RAD Movement? And I decided I'm going to keep it the RAD Movement because it is, you know, it's not just me, you know, it's the RAD Movement. It's tattooing. It's going to be live music. It's going to be interviews with my artists and other artists. It's going to be like all kinds of shit. So I want it to be like, yo, this is the RAD Movement. This is what we stand for, you know, like the RAD Movement. That's us.
Well, I think of this, like when you see that type of stuff going on, it'd be cool to see you build your own little production company, a RAD Movement, where you have the people you work with or your friends have their own shows on your channel too. You have like 10 different shows.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, you know, because it's about content, right? It's about, you know, getting the stuff out to the people, and the more awesome shit you give them that they can't get elsewhere, the more stoked they're going to be. Because, I mean, ultimately, I'd love to have a reality show about life and things and stuff, you know, but like something that I'm in charge of, something that I'm in control of, which is essentially YouTube. So, you know, like, guys, look out. It's coming. It's already started. And as it comes more and more, I'm going to learn more and more and grow more and more. Dude, it's wild. My studio has like 10 or so people that work there, from 2 baby tattooers to 1 tattoo apprentice to a piercing apprentice to a full-time piercer to, you know, 3 veterans, and then myself, tattooers. You know, like we've got a lot of fucking things going on there. You know, we got a permanent makeup person that just came in. Dude, we have so much going on in the studio, and it's awesome, like, to see how many people are really making this happen. And it feels like one well-oiled machine that I had no idea what I was doing, that I was a guy literally with 1 leg. I didn't even have a prosthetic. I fucking was spray painting the logo on the floor, hopping over it with one leg. That logo got destroyed by the old contractor when he started pouring the floor down, and then it turned into a happy accident because then we made the floor more cool looking. And like, you know, like, dude, it's just, I'm sad to see my mural go, but now we have stickers on, and I didn't have to do a mural in the back room. So like, it made it easier on one hand, it made it sad on one hand. But like, dude, it was just so wild, all this that went down. And like, so I was building this during COVID. I wasn't tattooing. Actually, truth be told, a couple of homies would come to the house and throw me some cash to tattoo them.
Oh yeah, smart move if you
That
ask
was
me.
like how I made my money at that point. That
Yeah.
was it. That was my only revenue. I wasn't going to do a GoFundMe because everybody was in COVID times.
Yep.
You know, like I wasn't going to be a dick. You know, so like I worked the little bit I could on the people I trusted, and that was that. So fucking with the little bit of money that was coming in, we were just putting it in my studio. My business partner, he was putting money into his studio. He's an essential worker. He owns a carpet cleaning business. So that's what he does on his day job. So he was doing that. You know, he was putting money in. I was putting money in. We were just so many times we were like, look, if we go broke, fine, but at least we'll have a tattoo studio.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was really cool because one day, I don't remember where I was or what it was. I think it was a commercial on YouTube or something. And I think it was a Harley Davidson commercial talking about how Harley Davidson built during the Depression. And I was like, oh, Harley Davidson's dope. They're a strong company. They're a great brand. I'm building during COVID. I'm just doing what they did. Yay.
Yeah.
And so like, I just made that my narrative so that way it was less grim, you know?
I mean, we're coming out of this. You like I was saying earlier, you had the whole speech of like, what if it doesn't get worse? What if the world doesn't end? Like, and apparently, I don't think it's going to end. I don't like we got out of this crazy election. You know, we had some things go down, some shit go down. Everybody's mad at each other. I noticed on social media. Calm down with that. And
right,
like,
but it's always that way. So
yeah, it's all like really nothing changed. Maybe we hyped the stuff a little bit better this time around. So I don't know. We'll get some vaccines and go back to it or whatever the hell people want to do.
Whatever, man.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call life anymore. You know, we're all living in a fucking simulation.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
We're living in it, so it is what it is.
Yeah, like when you try, I stopped trying to make sense of things a long time ago, and it's beautiful now.
Yeah,
you know?
Dude, absolutely, man. And watching my dad's the funeral wagon drive him away for his last part on earth in that form, like I learned, whatever you're doing here and now, you better make that shit count. Because when you drive the fuck away and your soul is no longer in that body, the only things that fucking mattered are the things you put value on. And that was it. And that shit hit me hard. It fucked with my ass. Like I was like, shit. So that means everything I do has to mean something to me. Or I have to at least make peace with where I'm at. Because when I'm gone, that's it. Nothing fucking matters anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been wrestling with that reality and trying to make peace rather than sense. And it's given me a lot of good. But dude, yeah, that's a weird one. I know I just kind of dove deep on that.
Oh yeah, I'm like that too though. I laid in bed when I was like 9 being like, what the fuck is going, like but I was a whack kid, man. I was I was that kid. I always tell people I was like this same character of Michael Cera from Superbad, just awkward, gangly, all fucked up and twice as nervous. And so like, I don't know that those nerves ever went away. I just made peace with them. Like you said,
dude. And it's wild, you know, like as you were sitting here giving me the introduction at the beginning of the interview, dude, I'm like sitting there like, man, this guy is my fucking hero. Like,
oh, thanks, man.
You have this shit dialed, man. You have this charisma and this way about you and this way you prepare your words and like really like hype the situation, dude. You're helping me so much more than you know in my own journey, dude. Seriously.
Oh man, I appreciate that. I told you also, like, there's only a few that get me to start another season of Living Adaptive because I was so swamped with other stuff and shows. And I get that text from Robbie and I'm like, he says jump, I fucking jump.
Dude, I really appreciated that, man. Cause like my son thought he was flying out later today, but he flew out earlier. So I had a window. And you know, I texted my ghostwriter and I was like, hey, do you have time for a conversation about the book? And she's like, not right now. So I was like, okay, cool. Then I was like, all right, Scott, what's up? And you because you told me the last time we tried to put something together, you're like, text me, I'm here when you're
Yeah,
ready.
I'm just gonna skip Instagram. Let's just get straight to the text. You got, like you said, you're writing a book. We can't skirt over this. Are we getting that audio version too, man? We gonna get you on the mic?
Absolutely, bro. Dude, my book has to be read by my motherfucking voice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like, there's just a grit I have that I know I have in my voice. Dude, I'm in Outback the other night, and this dude goes, "I know I heard your voice." Dude, I hear that so much. So like, if you hear my book being read by my mouth,
Oh
it is
yeah.
going to be so much more just organic, and it's going to feel like it's going to make sense when you read shit. Like, it's going to make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It is though.
so,
Like everything, like that's the thing is the way you in real life, like I guess this is not totally, it is in real life to me. And like you there is so crazy. It's so wild. It's larger than life. You walk in a room, you're larger than life. And so like it works. It just works, man.
thanks, man. It's wild. I think I've done a good job lately stepping into my greatness and accepting that I'm doing wonderful things on this planet, in this lifetime, and I'm learning a lot, and I'm learning to have grace, and I'm learning to appreciate things. So I appreciate all the kind words you give me, man.
Thanks, brother.
Really, it benefits me more than you know. And I never thought that this relationship would, blossom to the way that it is. I thought you were just some crazy dude with a fucking, with an idea that would never take off, because ideas never take off and shit's never
No.
going to work out. And why would he want me on the show if he was anybody worth doing? And then because it was all about how much of a loser I was. So there's no way you wanted interest in me. And
I
then,
love that though.
dude, it's so cool.
Think of this though, like I could start any other shows. I've started other shows and stuff, and the side of the adaptive side, like people are like, it's never gonna work. It's such a small market, it's never gonna do anything.
Right.
And I'm like, man, I disagree. And they're like, well, outside of the community, nobody's gonna want to hear the stories. I'm like, maybe, but maybe not. Maybe there's going to be those episodes. Maybe there's going to be those individuals that brings that human condition, and they see that like maybe losing a leg is very similar to a very hard breakup on some levels. The variables
Yeah.
just change.
Well, yeah, because you're losing a part of you.
Hmm.
And when you go through a breakup, you lose a part of you.
Yeah.
And it's very similar. Like watching my mom experience my father's passing. She
Oh, Lord.
lost part of her.
Yeah.
It's like, it's sad, but it's beautiful because the growth that comes out of it, it's fertilizer. It's just sad to watch somebody you love go through it. But it sucked to lose my leg, but now
That's cool.
You're
pressing 1,000 pounds with that bitch too.
Yeah, and it's got black glitter in it. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, I can see it. I hope everybody else can see it.
It's typical carbon fiber with black glitter in it. They experimented with mine, just because I'm so extra.
God, did you storm in on this scene though? The adaptive scene.
Dude, I storm in everywhere I go.
Oh man. Oh
And
man.
it's just kind of the way I do. And here's my little nub. He's a
Yeah,
happy.
yeah. Looks good. Looks healthy.
Dude, it really is. Like, it's wild. I'm very pleased at my progress. For as scared as I was, I'm doing way better than I ever imagined. It's a beautiful place to be when you can realize that you're actually doing well. Like we
Agreed.
went to Animal Kingdom. I walked around almost the whole day. I sat in a wheelchair for maybe like an hour or so.
That's a huge park too.
What's that?
That's a huge area to cover.
Dude. But it was so cool, man. Like the safari, I got to see rhinos and
I know, I
hippopotamuses.
love that shit.
I got to see hippopotamuses swimming under the water and shit. That was so fucking rad. Like we stayed at the Animal Kingdom Hotel, and there was like,
Oh damn, you got money then.
what's that?
You got some money then. That Animal Kingdom Hotel is not cheap.
We stayed one night.
I'm just playing. But
Yeah, it was fun, dude, and yeah, it was a little bit of an expensive adventure, but we shared it with friends, and it kind of dulled a little bit of the price. And it was a Valentine's celebration for me and Donna because we're working this weekend.
beautiful.
We've got 2 events going on this weekend, and locally. So we're gonna go to a food fest and go to a surf competition, and we're gonna promote and market the studio the surf competition is for Villain Clothing and Villain Coffee. They're like a super dope local brand. They make all kinds of rad Florida like clothing and fucking backpacks and
Oh, damn.
tons of apparel. They're really great grassroots operations, super sweet people. But yeah, and it's cool because like a lot of the people that we talked about on here, I tattoo, and you see in my other stuff on my YouTube or on my fucking, my Instagram and things like that. So, it's kind of fun world we've got here,
Yeah, man. It's like if I could wrap this up as like,
Yeah.
man, like if I could wrap this up, I mean like to wrap up your story, we're never gonna do. We're never going to be able to wrap that up. And so like we're just gonna keep following up with you, man, and seeing where you're at. We're gonna get the book. We're gonna follow your social media. Just go down. Anybody listening, just go down, click follow. I know that people are kind of stingy with their follows nowadays. Not in this case. This is an account you go after. Check it out, man, and support Robbie. He's out there doing some good, man. Thank you.
Man. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I mean, I plan on bringing content that's interesting for people to watch. I got a fucking French bulldog, a beagle, and a Sphinx cat. They're really cute. You're gonna see a lot of them. I'm a one-legged guy that does, heavy lifting and wakeboarding and skateboarding, and like, I got a lot of footage of my suspension. I'm gonna start doing a lot more vlogging, sharing the tattoo side of things. Even diving into a little bit of like furthering tattoo education and things like that. Just kind of like sharing what I've experienced over my time. I'm doing a lot of that on the YouTube channel. So it's just going to keep coming out. The content's going to keep rolling. I'm going to get more comfortable with creating it. I'm going to get an ear to the ground and hear what you guys want. So what you want, let me know. And we can go from there and build great content that you guys are going to enjoy binging on. Because I mean, I have a very unique life and I have no problem sharing all the aspects. So
That's 100%. Definitely have a unique and beautiful life, man. Thank you.
brother, thank you.
Remember, go to livingadaptive.com to find previous episodes, show notes, contacts for guests like this guest, links to social media accounts, and a bunch of other good stuff. So go there. Peace.